Today I'm going to reveal the 5 watch brands I'm going nowhere near in 2025. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Today, I'm possibly going to hurt some feelings. Please know that I'm not having a go at you personally, or having a go at your son or your daughter, or taking the mickey out of your mum and dad. We've all got those brands that we just don't understand why people buy them. Well, my 5 today are exactly that. And I'd love to know in the comments below at the end, could you give me a brand or even 5 that you don't like? But remember, this is just my opinion, and if I mention a brand today that you currently have on your wrist when you're watching this show, I still love you and respect your watch choices.
Because it's not an Apple Watch.
But you, I'm specifically talking to you, take that moon swatch off. Are you watch brands to avoid ready? Let's go. Now, the brand is pretty much steeped in aviation history, and one of their biggest reference, their most historical references, is the Navi Timer. It's a very complicated looking watch, and a reference that they just haven't got right with any of their reissues. I don't like the straps they partner with it online, and I don't really like any of the colours. £7,500.
That's a lot of cheese.
Now, an up-to-date 2025 Speedmaster Moonwatch is about £7,000. Now that is too expensive. But a Breitling Navi Timer for £7,500, absolutely no one's buying that watch. I don't care what anyone says. Maybe a Christmas present by a very wealthy wife wanting to give her husband a nice watch, maybe. But I wouldn't say Breitling is a watch enthusiast's watch, that's for sure. And if we look at the rest of their catalogue, well, history has gone right out the window. They changed their dive watch designs like there's no tomorrow, and really there is not a single piece of old Breitling Super Ocean I can get from their new dive watch references. Plus, all the watches are so gaudy and shiny. Unfortunately, they've gone down the Omega route, wanting to bling everything up. Now, yes, a new CEO came in and started bringing back some of the old references. And there will be people in the comments below saying, oh, you check out the top time. Check out the top time.
That top time is great.
Well, I've checked it out, I've handled it, and it's not great. It doesn't look expensive for the price it is. There are far more better watches made by independent brands for a 1/6 of the price. Now, not long ago, I bought a Breitling Super Ocean. I got a very good deal from Joma Shop, and it was the old 1957 reference of the Super Ocean. That watch was around £3,000. It didn't have a ratcheted bezel, it didn't have a screw down crown, and it was only water resistant to 100 meters. I know, I don't know what I was thinking. I was won over by the looks. But for anyone spending £3 on a dive watch that can't really go diving, need to be slapped in the face with a wet trout, as opposed to a dry one. Next brand, beginning with a B. Bremont. Who the heck is buying a Bremont? What are Bremont supposed to be in the watch world in 2025? Now, yes, the CEOs were 2 brothers, and the inception of the brand was heavily influenced by aviation again. And you could see that in their references. They weren't really for me because the watches were too big, but they had a DNA. And the brothers had big, big dreams, wanting to make their own movements and build their watches in their own factory. Unfortunately, that come at a huge price, and Bremont stopped making profit back in 2015. So they needed to do something different. But instead of harnessing their core values, they went down the profitability route of making a watch for absolutely everyone and having not really any identity. Yes, the brand logo now looks like Stone Islands, and the watches slightly resemble a Tudor black base. Their movements are now slightly more off the shelf with a bit of modification at their HQ, but they have jumped from complication reference like there's no tomorrow. Dive watch, field watch, pilot's watch, jump hour watch. Now, I've got to admit, some of their Terra Novas I do actually like. They're made with 904L steel. They feel nice. There are some nice innovations on the bracelets, but they're very meh. I don't feel pride in this brand. I don't feel an identity, and I don't think most of the people out there do either. Plus, I don't think they're very forthcoming with us reviewers either. There just seems to have been no effort to make us reviewers buy in to the new Bremont. I'd love to know what you think.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Next brand, Controversial. Timex. Don't come at me all at once. I'm specifically talking about a certain type of Timex, and I'm not just having a go at Timex. Since the early 80s, I have been wearing Casio digital watches. They are etched in my brain like iconic movies. A digital watch is a Casio, particularly in the UK. And I have tried over the years to like Timex digital watches, but they just don't look right. Yes, they pioneered the Indie Glow screen, very clear in the daylight, let alone the nighttime. But ever since I reviewed that blatant con job that was a Timex G-Shock 2 or 3 years ago, I just haven't felt the want to buy one. And that's even with the new Iron Men that come out in steel cases. To me, a poor man's G-Shock. But this is all about our upbringing, isn't it? I know you guys in the States grew up more with Timex than us in the UK did. Now, I know in 2025, Timex are doing some fantastic things with quartz and mechanical watches. But there's a reason why you don't see, well, if not any Timex digital watches on this show. They don't look right. All right. I can feel the comments already. But the next one is Tissot, or toss it spelt backwards. Now let's just push away this PRX elephant in the room just for a second, because personally I think Tissot is bland as heck. They're a strategic brand for the Swatch Group to get Joe Public or fresh new watch enthusiasts into buying Swiss watches. They're like the entry ladder, which is becoming more and more expensive these days. Now unfortunately for Tissot, their back catalogue of older models, they're really boring. And this is coming from someone that doesn't like out there watches. And, in my opinion, just looks and feels cheap. I've handled many C-Stars in my time. I hate that counterbalance T on the seconds hand. It feels like it comes straight out of the Invicta playbook. I feel like it's a very poor imitation of a Seamaster in my opinion. The sunburst dials always look cheap, and the balance and design just always looks a little bit off. And let's not mention the fact that when you buy the entry-level watch with the Powermatic 80, the really important components in that movement are plastic. Why? To save money. When you buy an entry-level Tissot, not even Tissot think that their watches are going to last. Now let's bring in that horrible elephant in the room, PRX. A watch that, let's be honest, come on, be honest, you've got one, haven't you? And I guarantee most of you that got one don't wear it anymore. Be honest. Back around 2020, everyone seemed to want an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Now, fair play to Tissot. They made a few quid off the back of this.
And are still milking the Tissot PRX cow like there's no tomorrow.
But don't let Tissot or the PRX blind your eyes. Because for £600, £700, £800, you can get amazing watches that aren't just going with a trend. And watches that you will wear a decade from now and not worried about any of the plastic parts breaking. My final brand that I'm going to try and avoid a bit, maybe, is Bulova.
You what?
Yeah, I know. Now, for anyone that watches a lot of YouTube channels that talk about Bulova, well, you get to see some nice references, don't you? The Mill ships, the Ocean Graph, the Hack, the Lunar Pilot. But if you go to your local authorized dealer, right, and take a look on what Bulova has to offer for the general public,
it looks like cosplay for Snoop Doggy Dogg.
The majority of Bulova watches are absolutely horrendous. And for a brand that is held in such high esteem, I don't think you've seen these ones. Or this one. Just think how good Bulova as a brand would be if they cleared out 70%, because it's around 70% of the shop window, and just concentrated on, well, nice looking watches. Their precisionist movement, it's quite a feat. It has a beautiful glide to that seconds hand that you can see on a Lunar Pilot. But in any other reference, the watches are absolutely disgraceful. And I think it's about time somebody on this platform told you about it. Bulova have a horrible side to them. And it's about 75% of what they make. But who in their right mind are buying these things? Because it ain't me, and it can't be you, can it? Bulova, it's time to stop making the rubbish, please. So there we go, 5 brands that I'm avoiding at the minute, you know, whether it's reviewing them or buying them. We have to mention the likes of Nomos, which is a brand that seems to be being pushed at all watch enthusiasts and forced to like. What I don't like the look of them. Oh, did I mention Citizen? Most of them are ugly and busy and overcomplicated and too big. I think that's everything. Plus, I think I've mentioned it before in this show, but yeah, don't buy a PRX. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Are we still friends? In the comments below, let me know the watches that you're not particularly looking at buying this year, or give a defense for the watch brands I've talked about today. All of us are entitled to our opinions, and they're all as important as the next person's. It's just, I've got a channel. And you might not have. But I do have a comments section. If you watched till the end, thank you very much. If you want to show more support, guess what? We got a Patreon now. See the shows early, get blooper reels, behind the scenes content, private group chat, and get your name credited at the end of the show like this lovely lot. Look at this platoon. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, and I hope I have, take a look at the 5 watch brands I recommend you buying. Let's get some positivity, shall we? Go on. Click it. You'll love it. You will love it. Go on, click it. Click it. Click it.